Sometimes the truth lives in the places no one ever looks. And today, I'm going to tell you a story that could have destroyed the life of an honest woman, a worker who only wanted peace. A lie, an accusation, and a revelation no one in that house was prepared to face. My name is Helena, and for 3 years, I worked in the Firaz family home. When I got that job, it felt like my life was finally getting back on track. The house was beautiful, organized, calm. My employers were polite. Or at least, that's what I thought in the beginning. Mrs. Livia was kind. Mr. Rodrigo was always busy, but he greeted me every morning. Their daughter, however, Isadora, 16 years old with more ego than any adult I've ever met. Rich, spoiled, and with a look in her eyes that always seemed to measure me, as if I didn't deserve to exist in that space. At first, it was just snide comments, little jabs, but one day she slipped. "Helena, did you see my gold earring? It's missing." I said no. She only replied, okay. As if she were secretly writing my name on a suspect list in her mind, as if I were guilty before anything even happened. But I didn't know how far she would go. It was a Tuesday like any other. I was cleaning the guest room when I heard it. "Mom, Helena stole it. She stole my bracelet." My heart jumped. When I reached the living room, Isadora was crying, or pretending to. Livia was shaking. "Helena, Isadora's gold bracelet is missing. She said she saw you near her dresser. Can you explain?" My voice came out small. I would never touch her things. I didn't touch anything. But Isadora pointed her finger right at my face. "Liar! I saw you messing around in my stuff. She probably hid it in her bag. Check her bag." In that moment, it felt like the ground disappeared beneath me. Shame, anger, fear, all at once. Fear of losing my job. Fear of humiliation. And then came the sentence that slapped me harder than anything ever had. "Helena, I'm going to have to check your bag." Right there, in the living room. As if I were disposable. Livia opened my bag and found only my documents, a cheap lipstick, a pack of cookies, and no bracelet. But Isadora didn't back down. She doubled down, practically spitting the words. She hid it somewhere else. She's smart. That was when Rodrigo walked in. "What's going on?" Isadora ran to him, dramatic as ever. "Dad, she stole my bracelet. I saw her. She's a thief." He looked at me with doubt for 1 second, and then his face changed. "Isadora, you remember we installed new cameras in the hallway, right?" Isadora froze. Her face went white. "Let's check the footage." That was the moment terror appeared in her eyes. We went to the security room. Rodrigo pulled up the recordings from the exact time Isadora claimed, and the truth appeared, raw and undeniable. The camera showed Isadora entering the room alone. The footage showed her opening the drawer, touching the jewelry, and hiding the bracelet under her own mattress. She knew there were no cameras in her room, but she forgot the hallway had one. Livia's hand flew to her mouth. I stopped breathing. Rodrigo asked, "Why?" And Isadora answered, without a single drop of remorse. "Because she thinks she's part of the family. She thinks she can boss people around. I wanted her fired. That's it." Her words sliced through the air like knives. Livia cried. Rodrigo tried to stay calm, and Isadora just turned her face away, like none of it mattered. Livia held my hands and said, "Helena, no apology will ever be enough. You didn't deserve this. I am so sorry." I cried. It hurt more than I can explain. Rodrigo added, "Isadora is going to apologize right now." But she just said no and slammed the door on her way out. In the days that followed, everything changed. Livia treated me with even more care. Rodrigo offered me a raise, and Isadora stayed locked in her room, without her phone, computer, or anything at all. She didn't speak to me, and honestly, I preferred it that way. But something strange began happening. Things started disappearing from Isadora's room again, small things at first. A cheap ring, a perfume bottle, a little money she kept in her desk. At first, I thought she was trying to set another trap, but she looked genuinely scared this time. And then one night, around 2 a.m., I heard footsteps in the hallway. Soft steps, careful steps, not the heavy ones of Rodrigo or the dragging ones of Livia. These were different. I opened my door just a sliver and saw a shadow moving toward Isadora's room. The next morning, I told Rodrigo. His face changed in a way I had never seen. He asked me to follow him to the office. He opened a drawer and pulled out a thick envelope full of documents. He placed it in front of me. "This started before you came to work here," he said. Inside were security reports, screenshots, and a background check of someone I had never expected. The tutor, the young man Livia had hired to help Isadora with her studies. Rodrigo continued, "He isn't who he claims to be. Fake documents, multiple identities. He worked in other homes where electronics and jewelry also disappeared, and he always vanished before anyone could confront him." My stomach twisted. "Livia doesn't know," he whispered. "She thinks he's just a talented tutor, but I found out the truth. That's why I installed the cameras. Not because of you, but because of him." That evening, the tutor walked in smiling, politely like always, but his eyes, cold, sharp, calculating. Rodrigo told Isadora to keep her door open during the lesson that day. She complained, but obeyed. That night, nothing happened. No missing items, no footsteps. Silence. Too much silence. For 3 days. Then, at 3:17 a.m., I heard footsteps again. Faster this time. Confident. Someone who knew exactly why they were there. I peeked out again and saw clearly. The tutor. He walked straight into Isadora's room and shut the door. I was frozen with fear. Rodrigo appeared moments later. He gestured for silence, then signaled me to follow him to the security room. He pulled the hallway footage. There he was, entering her room. "It's time," he whispered. He took out his phone to call the police. But before he could dial, a notification appeared on the screen. Isadora's room camera, motion, detected. I frowned, but there is no camera in her room. Rodrigo's face tensed. I never installed one. Cold dread spread through me. If he didn't install it, and I didn't install it, and no one in the house installed it, then who did? The footage opened, and what we saw chilled me to the bone. A micro camera hidden inside a fake screw of the lamp. Tiny, invisible. And the tutor appeared on the recording, not to steal jewelry, not to touch any teenager. He went straight to her drawer and pulled out the same envelope Rodrigo had shown me earlier. The confidential documents, company information, corporate secrets worth fortunes. He photographed everything and put it back. It wasn't theft. It was espionage. And Isadora wasn't the target. She was just the easiest way into an unguarded room. Rodrigo finally called the police. But right then, the tutor looked directly into the hidden camera, straight at the lens. And he smiled. Slow, cold. He knew. He knew he had been caught, and he already had a plan. The police arrived minutes later, but he was gone, like smoke. The next day, I found Isadora waiting for me in the kitchen. She wasn't arrogant. She wasn't dramatic. She looked small, broken. "I'm sorry," she whispered, "for everything. I didn't know what fear really was. Now I know." I hugged her, not because she had earned forgiveness, but because she needed it. The house slowly healed over the next months. I stayed until everything settled, until the family regained its peace. And on the day I left, Isadora handed me an envelope. Inside, a single sentence. "Thank you for not giving up on me." And that was when I realized something. The truth may take time to appear. Lies scream loudly, they spread, they destroy. But the truth whispers. And even in silence, it always finds a way to rise.